Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another YouTube video. Allincrypto here, and today we are going to be talking about Algorand ALGO. It's been a little while since we've mentioned this project, but you guys that are regular viewers to the channel will know that we actually have high hopes for Algorand and think that it will do very well. A lot of these layer 1 blockchains just need a killer application to blow the entire ecosystem and the layer 1 itself up. So you only really need to get, in my opinion, one or two real world mass use cases that are facilitated on the layer 1s for it to do well. That's my opinion with many of these. And actually, I think that Algorand will succeed in that. And today, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be recapping on some of the massive news that has came out in regards to Algorand. We're going to be looking, first of all, at the fact that the World Economic Forum recently mentioned Algorand and Santander's partnership, or Agro token, which is built on top of Algorand and Santander's partnership. Then we're going to be moving on, and we're actually going to be looking at a clip that was on BBC News, which is probably one of the biggest news outlets in the world, that featured A Note, which is a kind of music-based blockchain application that happens to be built on top of Algorand. We'll then move on and take a look at the fact that Algorand was mentioned in a recent Visa patent. And then we'll finish things off with taking a look at the price, because I'm seeing all sorts of weird and wonderful drawings on crypto Twitter. From a price point of view, straight off the bat, Algorand has been a lame horse. And people get upset that I say that. But if you look at it objectively and you remove your feelings, and I am an Algorand holder that actually bought higher than where the price currently is today. Algorand has, in regards to our portfolio, you can unlock my portfolio by becoming a Patreon, has been the worst performer. You know, we have a lot of altcoins that are doing very, very well. However, Algorand, despite us only really getting back into the market this year, has continued to go on and put in new lows. And is there an end to that insight? We'll perhaps cover that towards the end of the video. So before I start, guys, like and a comment is always appreciated. If you're not already a subscriber, please do consider becoming one. Let's start things off with taking a look at the World Economic Forum's article that was to do with non-fungible tokens. You can see this was tweeted from the Algorand Foundation. Nice mention of Agro token in this recent joint report of the evolution of non-fungible tokens by Bain and Company and the World Economic Forum. Now, I can hear the boos. The World Economic Forum I am no fan of. I think they're trying to bring about a global agenda that ultimately will not serve the people, and it will infringe on freedoms and stuff like this. But Algorand being mentioned in this and showcased under, we'll just quickly find it, guys. It was the finance section. They covered the role of non-fungible tokens in many different sectors, but you can see in regards to financial services, you can see here you have Santander and Agro token team up to offer loans secured by crypto assets. And we actually did do a deep dive on this, and we'll leave a link to this in the description, as well as the World Economic Forum article and Santander and Agro tokens official announcement. We actually did do an article on this where we looked at the partnership in a little bit more detail and how it's sort of revolutionizing this partnership. AgroFi, agricultural finance, the announcement on the 7th of March 2022, Santander and Agro token announced their joint venture, emphasizing it as the first global experience in backing loans with tokens related to agricultural commodities. A pilot test was conducted with Argentine farmers to validate the product's technical and operational aspects. Head of our agribusiness at Santander Argentina highlighted the bank's focus on leveraging technologies to expand the agricultural credit market. So this is huge. The fact that it is built on Algorand, the interesting thing here, actually, we looked at why they chose to build on Algorand. And initially, Agro token explored Ethereum for its proof of concept. However, due to unsustainable gas prices and transaction costs, they trailed to move to Polygon for testing integrations. It was only when they discovered Algorand that they found the ideal platform for their needs. And this is why we like Algorand. If you compare Algorand to, and we'll exclude DAGs from this, but most linear blockchains, layer 1 blockchains, it is superior on a number of levels. It is exceptionally fast. It does the job. It has very good finality. And actually now, certainly we covered, and we were one of the first people to cover the announcements on Python. It's going to be an easy to build environment, and a more inclusive one. So it's all very good stuff. The fact that they were mentioned on the World Economic Forum article, even though we don't like the World Economic Forum, we do think that they champion their own, and it's a good thing that they were certainly highlighting a token, a project, I should say, that was built on top of Algorand. You can see this is the official announcement from Santander and AgroCo can join forces to offer loans to secured by crypto assets. Pretty interesting, a good sign. I do believe this partnership has continued. And again, we only need for Algorand and some of these other layer one blockchains, 1 or 2 killer applications to completely blow the entire, really swing the spotlight onto them and see them do very, very well. These cryptos, Algorand, for example, is under $1 trillion, under $1 billion in terms of markups, in the hundreds of millions. I actually think that some layer ones, I'm not saying Algorand's going to do that, are going to get potentially into the future into the trillions in terms of market cap. But that needs real world adoption. And I think this is encouraging to see that actually Algorand is fit for purpose for real world usage. We also have the next tweet from the Algorand Foundation. Great to see A-Notes Music share about their platform on BBC News. And what I'm going to do is go ahead and play this clip. We'll take a quick look at A-Notes, which has been mentioned on Forbes, NASDAQ, Rolling Stones, Wired, BBC, and Music Business Worldwide. It's pretty cool what these guys are doing. Blockchain is, or I should say distributed ledgers, because I think that encapsulates this entire industry more. Crypto I don't really like to use because I kind of think it's got too much negative connotations with it. It incorporates a lot that is potentially far from the real revolution here, which is distributed ledgers. Distributed ledgers are changing the world, and they're changing every single sector. Any sector that you can apply accounting to, that you can apply trust to, finance, whatever it may be, is being revolutionized by distributed ledgers. And actually, I think Algorand is going to play a key role in that. And we're seeing the signs of that. And you can see with the BBC News having A-Notes on to talk about this, it was certainly something that pricked my ears up and was very exciting. So let's get into this because we've got a few more things to cover. And then we'll like the fact that Visa, Payton mentioned Algorand several times, actually. And then we'll wrap things up a little bit of price. So let's go ahead and listen to this clip. And then I'm going to love and leave you guys.
If we look at the music sector, it's in extremely good health. Hypnosis revenues are up 12% year on year, which is far outpacing inflation, far outpacing rate hikes. It's an asset class which protects the general investments. It's an alternative investment asset class. And this is also what we see at A-Note Music, our trading platform for directly investing in music royalties, where we see constant new interest, more investors, more catalogs, more international interest in the asset class. I believe it's exciting times ahead, and I'm looking forward for the vote today and seeing the response of the market after that.
Okay, well, we shall. Thanks for explaining all of that. It's interesting.
If we look at the music sector, it's in extremely good health. Hypnosis revenues are up 12% year on year, which is far.
We've just played it twice. I do apologize, or we've started to play it twice. But you get the picture, and this is a big deal. We do have an article actually coming out on this at some point. I don't know if it's today or tomorrow, but do stay tuned to allincrypto.com. Come over, support the website. We do cover Algorand quite regularly. We will be covering this in more detail in regards to the actual partnership between A-Notes Music and Algorand themselves. So pretty impressive. Last little bit I've got for you guys. Visa Payton mentions Algorand. So it mentions it a number of times. You can see Algorand scaling Byzantine agreement for cryptocurrencies. You've got Algorand again mentioned. You've got Algorand down here. Some BFT-based protocols, such as Algorand, that are resilient to fully adaptive adversary, chose a new committee for every transaction block, resulting in a linear number of identity blocks requiring a verified transaction. This talks about a number of other things. Going back to the point that I made at the start of the video, I think it's quite likely that Algorand is going to have killer applications built on top of it, potentially more than 1 or 2 big ones. And it's going to do well as a result of that. We're still in a very infantile stage for the crypto space. We don't even have any kind of regulatory clarity fully. However, that's all going to come. And actually, I would bet that once you get that regulatory clarity on the space, and Algorand got hit particularly hard with regulatory scrutiny. It was mentioning all of the lawsuits, sometimes singularly. You'll get everyone coming out of the woodworks. And just to finish things off with a little bit of price analysis, we only really took a stab back on Algorand here. So we were largely out of all of this, but we are still down on our bags, our Algorand bags. But it will turn around eventually. You are starting to get bullish divergence occurring. I have seen a lot of people drawing a falling wedge, which, I mean, I'm not sold on, but it could be a possibility. And if this is, we monitor and look at falling wedges all the time. It's what allowed us to call the recent Solana trade, or we've got Quant that we believe is in a falling wedge, just to quickly show you before we dive back into Algorand, that of course we've broken out. Could you see a similar thing coming for Algo? Potentially. You have potentially had 3 impulses here that could lead to an upside break, but we'll see. We think Algorand will do well. I don't really have too many promising signs other than potentially a bit of a bullish divergence for Algorand in regards to the technical side of things. So I can't really say too much. There's nothing that I can anchor on and say, right, this is going to rock and roll here. However, if the broader market starts to rock and roll like we think it will, there is the potential Algorand is going to be a beneficiary of that, of course. So that's all we've got for you guys. Hopefully we've got a number of the Algorand team, including the foundation, coming on the show to give us an interview. And on that note, I'm going to love and leave you. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section about what you thought about these announcements, these partnerships. And yeah, we'll catch you in the next one. Thanks all for watching. See you in the next.